Hello, 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 hello. Yo, hello. I am live. Hello. Let me know if you can hear me and if the volume is okay. Got a different microphone today, mainly because I didn't feel like plugging in the regular one. But I will if this one sounds bad. If it's too low, I can turn it up. Also, let me know if the music is too loud or if you can even hear the music. I guess I guess that's why people wear headphones when they stream, so that they can monitor the sound. Or at least, professional streams have producers and stuff, but we don't got it like that. Anyway, how's everybody doing? I know it's kind of late. At least it's getting late where I'm at, but I figure probably some people are getting ready for bed. I know I got grown folks in my audience, so I know a lot of people got to get up early, but hopefully there's some people that will hang out for a little bit. What's up, Jane says. Roundhouse Dictator says, what's your favorite dog? My favorite dog? I don't know if I've ever even thought about my favorite dog. I don't have a lot of dog experience, I guess. I mean, I've met a lot of dogs, but I just feel like dogs are so individual. Like, each one just has its own personality. I don't really know how to differentiate in terms of like breeds or whatever. My favorite individual dog. Well, I guess I have some fondness for some of the dogs that I grew up with as a child. I had a dog named Beige when I was younger, when I was like in middle school. It was a pretty cool dog. It was like I think it was an Eskimo, American Eskimo. Maybe it was mixed with something, I forgot. But it was like a little one. I think it was mixed with something because it was small. And I think that American Eskimo dogs are large. Yeah, I don't know. Dogs are chill. I just don't have a whole lot of experience with dogs. I just kind of meet other people's dogs. I really haven't had a dog as an adult. What games am I playing right now? Um, I actually started playing Melee again, which is kind of random, but I've been playing Smash Brothers Melee. Um, a little bit of Overwatch. That's about it. I don't play a lot of video games these days. And usually if I'm playing something, it's some kind of competitive game, like a fighting game or Overwatch. I've kind of got into like roguelikes, but I'm not currently playing one. I was playing a lot of Balatro, but I kind of haven't played that in over a month. Excuse me. Would love some good podcast recommendations. I don't I guess, I mean, hopefully some other people have some recommendations. I'm not the best person to ask. I only listen to 2 podcasts, which are Pod Meets World, which is the Boy Meets World rewatch podcast, and Midst, which is a kind of like a sci-fi narrative podcast. And I only know about Midst because it's on Critical Role, or it's part of like the Critical Role extended family. But it's really good. So if you like sci-fi narrative stuff, you should check it out. This may be an over-asked question, but just how much should I engage with those who I disagree with morally and politically? Do you debate friends, family, strangers on the internet? Well, me personally, I'm like usually down to have discussions with people, but I have like zero tolerance for bad faith, for people being rude and people being uncharitable. So like if people are interested in having a good faith conversation, I'm super down. But and like the moment it seems like it's becoming a bad faith, like a shouting match or something, I'm just completely out. I just dip out. I just have no interest. And on the same token, if I feel myself becoming emotional and angry, then I leave, because then the conversation is not being productive. I think the issue is when you say like, how much should I engage with? I think what people often mean when they say that is, I need to convince people that I'm right and they're wrong. And if you're going into it with that mentality, you're just probably not going to get anything done. But yeah, I mean, since I have those rules, I very rarely find myself talking to people on the internet, and honestly in real life a lot of the time, but especially on the internet, because internet debates almost always devolve into bad faith arguments and shouting and being rude to each other. So I don't end up doing it a lot, and every time I do, I usually regret it. With like friends and stuff, usually with friends, I can't remember that. I can't remember last time I've had like a really serious debate with my friends, because it's not that we agree on everything. It's just like, it's not the most important thing to us to debate politics. Like, you know, we just like hanging out and, you know, enjoying each other's company. We have discussions here and there, and I don't know, we don't really have debates, because we just respect each other. So I might just say I feel this way, and they might say I feel this way, and we're like, yeah, okay, that's cool. So But yeah, I don't. I have like zero patience for bad faith arguments, so I don't end up doing it. What's my opinion on Switch 2? Well, I don't have a Switch 2, so I don't know. I'm probably not gonna get a Switch 2 unless they come out with a new Smash Bros game, because that's pretty much the only reason I buy Nintendo consoles, is to play Smash. But I really don't see myself buying a lot of new AAA type games. For one, they're just too expensive. Switch games are supposed to be like $80 or something, which I mean, that's last I heard, and that's just more than I feel like I want to pay for a video game unless I like really, really want it. And also, you know, there's all the stuff now about you know, live online, always online games, live service games, and how you don't own your games, and how like the developers of the games can just turn the game off whenever they want, even though you already paid for it, and that kind of stuff, which is much more likely to happen with AAA games. And you know, that whole situation just seems pretty annoying to me. Also, I don't really play video games that much, so. Anything in particular that you've been craving lately? Anything in particular I've been craving? Like food-wise? I just ate a burrito, and I had been craving a burrito, and I just ate one, and I satisfied that craving. It was awesome. It was just it's actually a turkey. It was a ground turkey burrito, turkey and cheese, and had some jalapenos in there as well. Would you rather be a notebook or a pencil? I don't know. I guess a notebook. Pencils break easily. Best sitcom finale / ending. The Friends finale is pretty good. The Good Place has one of the best sitcom finales. Trying to even think of finales. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen one that was good, because a lot of them aren't good, and a lot of shows don't get one. Most of the ones I'm thinking of aren't good. I feel like it's very common for sitcom finales to not be good. Debate helps to find the fastest arguments, but bad for finding meaningful truth. It just depends on what your goals are. I mean, maybe if you're thinking about live debate, then yeah, but I'm not really an advocate of live public debate, but interpersonal debates with people that you respect, I think, can help you get closer to truth and just help you think about how you feel about things and get new perspectives. I think it's actually pretty important to do that. What makes a friend then? I'm not sure if I understand that question. I'm a little behind, but yeah, I don't know if I get the context. I believe that was written while I was talking about debating with my friends, but I still don't really understand what is meant. What's up, Fred Sir? Does upload time actually matter in your experience? My newest vid is finished and I want to post it ASAP, but my audience isn't online time-wise. Not really. I think ultimately the video is gonna do how it's gonna do regardless of when you post it. But like if you post it, if you know, like for example, if your audience is around at noon and you post it at 1 a.m., you might not get any views until noon, but you'll get them still. But you know, most videos get views over a long period of time. It's not just like the first day. So I think the video will get the views that it's going to get regardless of what time you post it. Do you think Puff Daddy should be denied bail? Yeah, probably. But you know, he just got acquitted of a lot of serious stuff, which is kind of upsetting because I don't know the exact crimes that he's guilty of, but it seems pretty clear that he is guilty of some crimes. It seems like he's a danger to society. What's the best airing sitcom? I don't really know. I don't really watch all the sitcoms. Abbott Elementary is decent. Usually if I'm watching a sitcom, it's an old sitcom. Would you sacrifice the one innocent guy by killing the 5 workers who knew the risks? I mean, well, I was gonna say I don't like this question, but I think the point of the question is that it's a hard question. If I'm forced to make a choice, then you would want to reduce the amount of people that died. But if I was in that situation in real life, I probably would just not make a choice because it wasn't my fault. I didn't set up the situation. So I can't be held liable for something I had no part in creating. I had this general feeling that the pandemic killed momentum toward progressive / green ideas, EVs and renewables, plant-based, whatever. What do you think is the lasting impact on society / politics? I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting question. I think it will require a lot of research to really know the answer. I'm not smart enough to really know the lasting impact of the pandemic. I do think that the pandemic, the fact that Biden was the president during the pandemic is probably a big reason why Trump is the president now. So that's a pretty big impact because I think Trump is going to have a pretty lasting legacy, not in a good way. Favorite 90s sitcom of all time? Favorite 90s sitcom of all time? That's hard. Favorite, and I have to differentiate between favorite and best. Like I think Boy Meets World is one of my favorites, but I don't know if I would say it's like the best. Roseanne is probably a big one. Seinfeld. There's probably like some sleepers that I'm not remembering. There were a lot of really good sitcoms in the 90s. It was kind of like a golden era of sitcom. Thoughts on polyamory, non-monogamy, etc. I think from a purely rational standpoint, I think monogamy doesn't really make sense. But from an emotional standpoint, it works for a lot of people, and it is preferred by a lot of people. I think for myself, I'm open to whatever. I've been involved in polyamorous relationships before, and it was interesting. I think that it can be done, but people really need to be on the same page for those kinds of relationships to work. And I imagine that when it comes to romance and sex and all that, it's like very common for people to behave emotionally and not rationally, which can lead to problems. What is your estimated life sitting time? Like how much time I've spent sitting? Definitely a lot, because I basically sit down for a living. I have no idea though. That's something that I've been thinking about a lot, because sitting down all the time is bad for you, and I've been trying to counter that and get on my feet more. If you watch sports, what do you watch and who do you root for? The only sport that I really watch consistently is college football. And if you can see the poster behind me, you can see the team that I support, which is Alabama, who were quite good for a long time. Maybe not as quite good now, but we'll see when the season starts. I also really like the NBA, but I don't really follow it that closely. But I watch a lot of highlights and other content about the NBA on YouTube. What's an older TV show or movie that you've wanted to watch but just haven't seen for whatever reason? Um, I mean, there's a bunch of classic movies that I've never seen. There's a bunch of movies that everyone has seen that I haven't seen. I've never seen Indiana Jones. I've never seen The Lord of the Rings. I only recently saw The Godfather. Yeah, there's a lot of them. You can't duck it like that. You got to make a choice. That's the point of the question. Yeah, I did make a choice. I was just saying what I would do if that actually happened in real life. But in the hypothetical, then I feel like it's pretty obvious that you should try to kill the least amount of people. Like, I feel like it's not that interesting a question. If you're forced to make a choice, why would you not kill the least amount of people? Do you support Stop Killing Games? As far as I understand it, yes. Best Final Fantasy game? 14. Fair enough. BMW is a good one. Good point about it not necessarily being the best. Yeah. Do you have a favorite comedian? Not really. I'm more into, I mean, when you say comedian, do you mean like a stand-up comic or just any comedic actor, comedic writer or whatever? I don't know if I could pick out a favorite. I mean, there's a lot of various comedy writers and comedy actors that I like. And some stand-up comics, although I don't follow stand-up comedy that closely. Which of the Boy Meets World characters could you take in a fight? If you mean the characters on the show, then all of them, because they're basically children. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? I know that line. Lost finale, yay or nay? I've never seen Lost. That's another show I've never seen. Do you watch stuff you already know in other languages? Sometimes when I've been trying to, well, not that I've been trying to, but I've been telling myself that I want to learn Spanish since I was a kid. And I like know a decent amount of Spanish, but I just never really keep up with it. Although I learned recently that you can practice Spanish with ChatGPT, which is interesting. That might be a really interesting way to like learn it like on my own. But yeah, when I am in the mode where I'm actually like practicing Spanish, I might watch shows that I like in Spanish. And I actually have a list of Spanish series that people recommended to me a couple years ago that I think I checked out a couple of them, but I didn't really follow up on it. Never seen Lord of the Rings. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to revoke your nerd card. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big one. Especially consider the fact that I'm like obsessed with D&D, and D&D is basically based on Lord of the Rings. Oh, Mr. Fee next door is not a child and could probably do some real damage. He was portrayed as being highly competent and spry for his age, so possibly. Who's the best late night host, former or current? Definitely Craig Ferguson. I don't even think it's close. I used to like David Letterman a lot too. And I guess Conan O'Brien is cool, but I like him more as a person than as a late night host. But yeah, Craig Ferguson was the best host. Netflix has some good Spanish language series. Like what? Have I ever been to Canada? I have never been to Canada before. I have not really done any traveling outside the United States, which is something that I hope to change soon. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any flying anytime now though, or anytime soon though. Are you currently in a D&D campaign? Yes, I run a D&D campaign. I am the DM of my group. Do you think a lot of movies these days are immediately dated? And are there any films that came out recently that you think will stand the test of time? I don't know. I don't watch movies really. I mean, I haven't seen any recent movies, I don't think. The only movies that I really keep up with are the Marvel movies. I'm not a movie guy. I mean, it's not that I don't like movies, but I just don't, I don't really get excited about movies. So I just don't really see them. But I just love Marvel, so I just watch Marvel stuff. There's a series called Destinos made in the early 90s that teaches Spanish in a progressively more immersive soap opera style series. It's free on YouTube. It teaches Spanish? That's interesting. Conan's remotes were some of the best segments of the show. Yeah, the remotes were good. Like the late era of the Conan O'Brien show was really cool. Cable Girls is a good Spanish language series on Netflix about 4 women who work as phone operators in 1920s Madrid. It does get campy by the end. It doesn't start out campy and it gets campy. It's an interesting transition. Hey, T1J, kind of random, and I'm trying to listen to more hip hop. I really like the group Jurassic 5, but I haven't come across anything similar. Not even sure what style they are. Know anything similar? Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what you would think is similar, but that's interesting because if you asked about like any other era of or genre of music, I probably wouldn't be able to answer, but Jurassic 5 is right up my alley. You should try I'd say like De La Soul, Black Alicious, Mos Def and Talib Kweli. EPMD. But yeah, it kind of depends because like Jurassic 5 is sort of like lyrical, sort of indie hip hop type music. You try old Black Eyed Peas, Hieroglyphics Crew, stuff like that. How much money do you spend on subscription services? Probably too much, like most people, but honestly, I probably spend less on it than most people. But and it just depends on like I have a few subscription services that are like career based. So I don't know if that is counted, but yeah, in terms of like entertainment and stuff, I have Disney Plus and I have Peacock. I think that's it. No, I have Amazon Prime, but I have that mostly for the 2-day shipping and all the other stuff. But I don't have Max or any of the other ones. Any upcoming games you're looking forward to playing? Not really. If they come out with a new Smash Bros game, I'll play that, but I'm not sure if that is a thing yet. Also, if they come out with a new Zelda game, I'll probably play it. Zelda games are always good. How do you pick your D&D music? Well, it kind of depends on the vibe of the campaign. There's a great YouTube channel called Bardify if you're ever looking for extended fantasy style music for your D&D games and like ambience and stuff like that as well. And they just have like hundreds of tracks for like various situations. It's like a really cool channel. So I use Bardify a lot. My current campaign is set in the modern day, so I've been trying to find more modern sounding music. Video game soundtracks are really good for that, and video game soundtracks in general are just good for finding music for D&D. There was a movie called Fanboys from 15 years ago about a group of nerds who travel across country to break into Skywalker Ranch and steal a special edit of Star Wars Episode 1. I have an idea of similar movies set in the DC universe where a group of nerds want to meet Batman, road trip to Gotham, and start staging crimes in order to get him to show up, only to end up involved in some supervillain plots. What do you think about this idea? I mean, it sounds interesting. It sounds like a screwball comedy. I don't know if you meant it like that, but I feel like I've heard of something like that, but maybe I'm just combining a lot of ideas in my head. What house were you rooting for on Game of Thrones? That's another show I haven't seen. Never seen Game of Thrones. If you're looking for a good fantasy music to play in the background of your D&D games, look up the soundtracks for Indral or Nerim. They're absolutely amazing. I'm not familiar, but I might keep that in mind. Have you enjoyed your YouTube career so far? Yeah, it beats any other job. There's ups and downs, and there's always like, you know, higher heights that I could reach that I'm still working on figuring out. But you know, that's one of the cool things about it. It's kind of like an endless puzzle, and it's an awesome job at the same time. Any tips for someone trying to get into streaming video games, especially technical advice like how to set up everything? Well, you know, I'm not a pro streamer by any means. Streaming, honestly, like people who stream for a living specifically, it just sounds exhausting. I can never do that. But I like streaming a little bit. I think with streaming video games, it kind of depends on what you're trying to do, what your goal is. I would say in terms of like how to set up everything, you know, that's kind of a long thing. Like if you have no idea, that's kind of a long thing to explain, but you just need, basically just get OBS, and it depends if you're playing on PC or if you're playing on console. If you're playing on console, you need a capture card, I think, and you need to hook it up to your computer. But if you're playing on PC, you just get OBS and you just set up your scene. You have to look up the correct settings and all that based on, you need to have fast internet, and all that. But yeah, in terms of like how to set stuff up, just look it up. There's a lot of tutorials. It shouldn't be too hard. But you definitely need fast internet, and you need a pretty decent computer. And outside of that, I would say try to find community, try to get involved in the community, make friends with other streamers. And if your goal is to try to like build your stream and grow an audience, then I would say don't only stream, also make content, make VODs and other types of content. Put it on the platform of your choice. YouTube is obviously popular, but TikTok works, Instagram works. It's really hard to build a streaming audience only by streaming. Also, don't be afraid to tell your friends about your stream. I feel like a lot of people, when they make content, they're like too embarrassed to tell their friends and family about their stream. But those friends and family, those are going to be like your first and most loyal viewers, and make sure you tell them. Because it kind of sucks when you first start out and you have like 0 people watching you. It's a pretty depressing state to be in. So if you just tell your friends and stuff, you at least have a couple people that'll watch. Am I ready for the 4th of July? I guess so. I'm not even sure if I'm doing anything for 4th of July. I actually need to get with my friends and see if we're gonna do something. We might like just grill some meats or something. French toast versus waffles versus pancakes. Waffles, 100%. AI net benefit or detriment to the world? Unclear. It's hard to say. There's a lot of downsides to AI, but that doesn't mean that those aren't things that could be addressed and fixed. But there's clearly a lot of benefits and a lot of ways that AI can be used to enrich humanity. And also, I think AI is probably not going anywhere. So we need to figure out how to make it work. It's not even a question of is it good. We have to. It is incumbent upon us to make it good because it's here. It's just an excuse to keep up with a friend, family member that lives far away. We're basically John and Hank Green, but even dorkier. Oh, that's cool. I like that idea. Also, it's a good idea to find a niche to exploit. There's thousands of streamers out there, but not all of them are playing the same kinds of games. I guess so. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Like I said, I'm not really an expert on like video game streaming and what works and what doesn't work. I know on YouTube, I feel like on YouTube, the niche doesn't matter that much. It's just make interesting, unique content, and it just doesn't matter what the niche is, but it could be different for streaming. Not totally sure. But you know, streaming just seems so hard to turn into something big. I'm not even sure how people do it. Like, I don't know if it's like purely luck or if there's, I mean, I get there's got to be a strategy, I guess. And I think luck is involved regardless, you know, if it's streaming or if it's other types of content. But yeah, it just seems way harder to be a successful streamer. Dark Brotherhood or Thieves Guild? I don't know what either of those reference. Also, do you have a favorite Avatar character? I've never seen Avatar. I told you there's a lot of stuff that I have not seen. That's Avatar is definitely a thing that's on my list because I don't think I've ever heard someone say that they didn't like it. My pop culture knowledge is just like MCU and 90s sitcoms and random stuff on YouTube. Have you watched the new season of Squid Game? Nope. Do you like to cook? Signature dish. I do like to cook. I cook quite frequently, actually. Signature dish. I guess it depends. I cook. There's things that I cook a lot. I think maybe the thing that I cook that I'm the best at cooking is, I think I can make a really good omelet. I also make really good fried rice. I spent a full like 2-3 months trying to figure out how to make fried rice because I love fried rice, and I think I got pretty good at it. I've been doing a lot of grilling lately. I wouldn't say that I'm good at it yet, but grilled food is really good. But yeah, like if someone told me to make, you know, if I was like entering a dish into a contest or something, I'd probably do either an omelet or fried rice. What's a question you wish someone would ask you? I don't know. That's a common thing that people ask, and I don't really know how I'm supposed to answer it. I don't really. I mean, I'll answer. I wish that people would ask whatever they want to ask. Omelets are hard. My pans are shitty, I think. Yeah, the pan can affect it. I think with omelets, I don't know, it kind of depends on what what problem you're having with omelets, but one of the problems that I was having is I was putting too much stuff inside them. You have to be very like moderate with the fillings of the omelet, or else it'll just break apart or it won't close. And I think, and the size of the pan matters as well. Like if you're using like making a 2-egg omelet, for example, you don't want a huge pan because it's just not enough egg. What's up, Alton? Limit your eggs. You don't need 4. It's too much. 2 might be the sweet spot. Yeah, 2 is fine. I think if you only have access to a large pan, you might need 3 because 2 just doesn't. It just gets too thin for a huge omelet. But yeah, if you got just like a regular like medium-sized pan, 2 is fine. 2 is plenty. Have you been to any music festivals? I went to one music festival when I was in high school. That's about it. I'm not a big music festival guy. It's not really that cool an experience to me. It's just, you're just like outside walking around and it's hot and everything's expensive. It's just not that cool to me. I'm only interested if there's an act that I just really want to see. Some people there, I mean, especially around, you know, in my town, people love music festivals and rock shows and stuff, and it's like, I don't know, that's not my jam. I see a lot of modern Seinfeld content on IG/TikTok. Do you think they could have kept going and going? I mean, I guess they could have if they wanted to, but I think Seinfeld is like part of the charm of Seinfeld is that it's a very late 80s 90s show. Like that's kind of the vibe of Seinfeld. Um but you know, I think they're talented writers. They could have made it work if they wanted to. I think Curb Your Enthusiasm is kind of like the spiritual successor to Seinfeld, and it's kind of like what a modern day Seinfeld could be like. What's your opinion on communism? I've been getting into that idea. I want to see your opinion. Well, I don't think of myself as an expert on communism, but I don't think of I wouldn't call myself a communist. And some of the things that I agree with are the things that communists don't like. I think of myself as more of a social democrat. But you know, I'm not an expert, and I feel like I would really need to have a conversation with someone who really knows what they're talking about when it comes to communism, because usually when I hear people talking about communism, it's just like weird people on the internet who don't make really sophisticated arguments, and they're just kind of like angry. So yeah, I don't know. But I'm kind of open to any idea that could make the world better, but you have to have sort of the idea has to be like rooted in sort of, I think the problem with communism is it's like a theoretical thing. So we're just kind of like, for one, it like in the United States, it's probably never going to happen without like some kind of violent revolution, and I don't really support it's going to be hard for me to support that kind of violence in favor of a theoretical idea that's never been proven before. But yeah, I don't know, it's hard to talk about because when people talk about these ideas, everyone means different things when they say things, and you know, I need people to be specific. Like, I'd rather talk about specific ideas, because when you just say a label like communism, there's so many things that can come to mind. What artists would you want to see in concert? Well, probably none that are currently active, but probably the only artist that I really wish I could have got to see was Outkast. Curb taught me that Larry is the true talent behind Seinfeld. Yeah, I think probably most people agree with that. I think Seinfeld was good all the way through, but I think most people would agree that it was better when Larry was there, and it was less good after Larry left. Yeah, but to me, it's a good idea. I always see the weird people who don't understand communism, plus the propaganda that US put onto us. Yeah, this is another thing. When people talk about communism and their opposition to capitalism, they always frame it in terms of the United States, but the United States is just one country out of many. It's not the only country that does capitalism, and in fact, it probably does capitalism the worst out of all of the capitalist countries. So to me, it's just the workers owning the means of production, and there really isn't a government. It's all community based. Yeah, see, I think there should be a government probably. And I don't really have a problem with private ownership, but there obviously needs to be like regulations and things like that. I don't have a problem with collective ownership either, but I don't Yeah, I think it's fine to privately own stuff. You had a poster on your door. It was like a white girl version of the classic 70s Jamaica poster. What's the question? Oh. That was, I guess it is kind of a random poster. It was a poster, if I remember correctly, it was a poster from a bar that I used to go to. And it was just of a girl. It was just a girl from town who posed for the poster, I think. Yeah, it was from a bar called the Upside Down Plaza. If I could be wrong, but if I recall correctly, it was just like a local model, I think, from like the 70s or 80s or something like that. Yeah, I don't know where that poster is. I don't think I have it anymore. It probably just got ripped up or something. I don't even remember how I got it. I completely forgot about that until you mentioned it. Alicia, thanks for stopping by. I assumed it was like someone famous because of your pop culture references. No, it's just got it from a bar. Do you like Roseanne as a person? Well, I don't know Roseanne, so I can't really tell you what she's like as a person. She's a Trump supporter, which I don't agree with. But she also was instrumental in making one of the most thoughtful and progressive shows ever made. Yeah, that was a while ago. It's been like what, 10 plus years since I've since I've had that poster, I think. Marvel or DC? If I have to choose, I would pick Marvel. But there's some good DC stuff also. don't like to comment on Israel Palestine because it's one of those topics that people get absolutely insane about, and I'm not trying to get doxxed or threatened. And I mean on both sides, people get absolutely insane about it. It's like one of those internet conversations that seems just impossible to be had without people being weird, extremely weird. Do you have a favorite video that you posted this year? What videos have I posted this year? I think I don't know. I like the Daria videos. Those came out well. No comment equals defensive status quo. Okay. I truly, this is why I don't talk about this is why I don't make videos about politics. I have no interest in passing people's purity tests. If you need me to pass a moral test in order to support me, you can go ahead and dip out. I you know, peace be with you. I'm not super not interested. I'm satisfied with my own sort of personal feelings. I don't feel the need to make sure that people on the internet are, you know, morally satisfied with me. But there's just certain topics that I just don't think you can have on the internet, and that's just one of them. There's other ones too. Back in the day, the meat eaters versus vegan, that was another one that was just really impossible to have on the internet. I think people have kind of cooled down about that, at least in this day and age. But there's always something that people just get insanely overworked about and just refuse to sort of be kind to each other about. Climate change is one of them. Yeah, to some extent, although I don't know if I mean, I'm sure it's happened. I was gonna say, I've never heard of people being like, you know, massively harassed over climate change arguments or like, you know, canceled or whatever. But maybe it's probably happened. But yeah, I want to get I want to get away from. I don't like the idea of my audience being contingent on me, you know, not thinking wrong. That's I don't like being in that position. I just feel like that's a toxic relationship to have with the audience. I want you to be here because you like the videos and that and only that. Because if you need me to agree with you on every single thing, I promise you it's not going to work out because we just don't agree. We're not going to. So I feel like if there is a thing that, well, I don't know. I think that's enough said. Favorite Pop-Tart? I feel like strawberries is just the classic. It's like the best one. I got a lot of shit a while ago for making a video in defense of eating meat. It was kind of a tone deaf video, I guess. But yeah, it like, I got a lot of like hate and harassment, and I lost a lot of subscribers. It was really crazy. But that was like a long time. It was like 8 years ago or something, 10 years ago. I also think a lot of these subjects are kind of just very complicated, and people talk about them as if they're not complicated, which also is also a reason why I don't want to talk about them, because people oversimplify things all the time. I notice a lot of your videos seem to be on topics that interest you personally rather than chasing views, which is really cool. Is there any advice you would give to people starting out on YouTube? Well, I think really the idea is trying to find the balance between things that you want to make and things that that other people want to see. I don't know if it's totally accurate to say that I don't chase views, because I mean, I want views. I want people to watch my stuff. But I think that YouTube is if you want to succeed on YouTube, and by success, I mean, if you want to get views and grow an audience on YouTube, then you have to be cognizant of what people actually want to watch. I don't think you can you can just make whatever you want, but in doing that, you have to acknowledge that what you want to make is not always what people want to watch. I think it's a little bit self-centered to be like, I'm just gonna make whatever I want, and I don't care what people want to watch. I don't know, that seems a little weird to me. The ideal is to find the balance, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do, because I do want people to watch my stuff. I want views. In terms of like, what advice would I give to people starting out? I mean, that's a very broad question. You know, what are your goals? What are your challenges? You know, the answer can differ depending on those things. What kind of, you know, I would say if you're just a beginner, you're completely new, the main thing is just make stuff, get used to the process of making stuff, and get reps in, and just get better and better over time. That's the main thing you should focus on in the very beginning. You shouldn't worry about like views and stuff. Just get good at making videos. One of the biggest issues with smaller creators and newer creators is they overestimate how good their videos are. And then they like wonder why they don't get views. It's like, well, it's probably because your videos aren't very good. So just learn how to get good at making videos. That's the first thing. Enjoying anything in particular from Dropout? Low-key becoming my favorite streaming service lately, but your D&D vid introduced me to D20, which I so appreciate. Oh, that's awesome. I kind of enjoy everything on Dropout. I believe that I am the exact target audience for Dropout. I like pretty much everything that they make. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a fanboy at this point. I've actually got to catch up on some stuff. I have to I'm behind 2 episodes on Dimension 20. I need to catch up. I'll probably do that tonight. And I haven't watched the last episode of Parlor Room, which I'm actually excited about because it looks like they're playing in TTRPG. What do you like to talk about? What are you passionate about? I truly enjoy your videos and enjoy these chats. I don't usually engage. I don't know. I like a lot of stuff. I think in these chats, I'm interested. I mean, I'm just interested to see what you guys are interested in. If I have something to say about it, then I will. I like D&D. I like sitcoms. I like Marvel. I like WWE. I like YouTube. I like fighting games. I don't know. I like a lot of stuff. I like chess. I like college football. I like being kind or encouraging people to be kind to each other and imagine other humans as complex and to be charitable to each other. And to not treat other humans as simplistic good versus evil. I've argued that Frasier is the purest expression of a sitcom. I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but I mean, Frasier's good. I guess you'd have to like expand on what you mean by the purest expression of a sitcom. But Frasier's a really good show for sure. Have you seen Sinners? I have not. I need to watch it actually. Is that on streaming? It's probably on streaming by now, right? That's one of the ones that's a movie that I've actually like I said before, I don't really watch a lot of movies, but every now and then a movie comes out where just literally everybody's like, you need to watch this movie, and that's one of them. Alignment in D&D, yes or no? I think alignment is a good sort of like baseline for like thinking about the characterization of the character. I don't really use alignment as sort of an end all be all type of thing, but I sometimes use it as a baseline to just think about, you know, what is this character like, or what does this character care about? What is the sort of vibe of this character? I just kind of use it in a vague way like that. But in terms of, like, I don't use it as a mechanic. I'll put it that way. I don't use it as a mechanic in the game. Like there are some, like in D&D, sometimes there's like magic items that'll like change your alignment. I don't use stuff like that. It just seems a bit weird. And as the DM, I usually don't like stuff that forces the players that tells the players how to play their character. I don't usually like stuff like that. At least in D&D. Like there are some games where that's part of the game, like in Vampire, which I also love, Vampire the Masquerade. In that game, things happen where the characters like lose control of themselves, and so you encourage the players to play their character differently, and I think that's part of the game. But in D&D, you don't really need to do that. But you know, if you've got a group that's like willing and down for like interesting stuff like that, then go for it. But in general, I just like to let the players choose how to play their character. So I can't just be like, okay, you're lawful evil now. It's like, Have I ever watched Scrubs? I love your videos on sitcoms and was wondering if you've ever make one on it. I have watched Scrubs. It's really good. Scrubs is on my list. I need to rewatch it. Usually when it comes to like shows that I haven't watched in a while, I'll like rewatch them and just see if a topic comes to mind. So that's on the list. We'll see. But there is a decent chance that I can make a video about Scrubs. I just try to have like a unique angle when I'm talking about shows. I don't normally do just like sort of general retrospectives, although I guess I could if people would watch that. But I usually try to just have like an interesting angle or like an interesting character arc to talk about. Ideal D&D group size? For me as the DM, 4 or 5. Probably 4 is ideal. 5 is doable. Anything more than 5 is crazy to me. I don't even know how people do that. You really have to have a really like good group that's there, that's not fucking around, and that's not, you know, that really understands the situation to have more than 5 players. But for most sort of casual groups where people are, you know, cross chattering and checking their phones and doing all kinds of stuff, you can't have like 7-8 people around the table doing that. That just doesn't work. And I guess you could do fewer than 4. 3 probably works, but after a while it's like, I don't know, it gets a little bit too intimate. Like it's good to be able to just switch off from another player to talk to someone else for a little while. Okay, but is there existential evil in D&D? To me, alignment is a way to excuse running through a dungeon, killing evil monsters and taking their gold. Well, yeah, you want an excuse to do that because that's what you do in D&D. I mean, I guess you don't have to do that, but that's a big part of what you do in, you know, typical D&D games. So yeah, you want an excuse to do that. Like if there's a lich that's trying to take over the world, I'm comfortable just saying, yeah, that guy's evil, and you don't have to think about it any further than that. It's make believe. You know, I don't need all of these fake monsters to be complex. You know, you can make them interesting. You can give them complex motivations. You can give them tragic backstories. But it's okay if they're just evil, I think. I think the issue can come across, I think it can become unrealistic if you're saying something like all 100% of goblins are evil, which I think is what they kind of did in older versions of D&D. which is like, okay, that's really like 100% of them. But honestly, even if you want to do that, it's like, it's make-believe. It's fine. Sometimes you do run through a dungeon and kill everybody and take their gold, and you're hailed as a hero afterwards, because the goblins are evil little monsters that terrorize everybody and steal their stuff, you know? It's fine. It's just like jumping on Goombas in Mario. Like, we don't need the Goombas to have complex backstories. They're just nasty little Goombas. It's definitely possible to have more complex, more human type stories. I think that's a cool thing when people pull it off. And in other games other than D&D, you might have more, you know, you might be more nuanced with alignments and stuff. But in D&D, you know, it's fine. But like I said, I just don't really use it as an alignment because, you know, even if there is an evil lich that wants to take over the world, what if one of the players does something really cool that changes the lich's mind? I want to just leave that, you know, open for possibility. All right, Alton, thank you for stopping by. Do you play Kingdom Hearts? I have played the first two Kingdom Hearts games. They're both really good. It is sad, and it's sad to me how incomprehensible the story of Kingdom Hearts is, because I would love to understand it, but I just really don't. I've seen people like try to explain it, and I guess if I really look deep into it, I could explain it, or I could figure it out. But the games themselves are really fun. But it's the type of game that I wish I understood. You have me thinking about the plight of the Goombas now. That would be a killer spin on the Nintendo universe. Yeah, I'd love to see a story centered around the Goombas. And I think there are some good Goombas, I think, in the universe. Isn't there a good Goomba in like Mario RPG or something like that? One of those games. But yeah, that, you know, I'd be interested in seeing something like that. I never played Kingdom Hearts 3. And I know there's a bunch of other Kingdom Hearts games, and I think that's part of the reason why they're so hard to understand, because a lot of the story is gated behind all these random Kingdom Hearts games that have come out. But I don't even, was Kingdom Hearts 3 good? I feel like there was mixed reviews about it. Oh, it was good? I might try it, I guess, because I really loved 1 and 2. I think they're both good. I'm here from the Ecstasy music video. That's super random. What the hell? I guess I did comment on that. I don't remember what my comment said. That album, Bone Thugs and Harmony Resurrection, that's the first album, it's the first CD I ever bought with my own money. That song goes hard though. It's always random how people discover the channel. Well, I make nerdy videos about sitcoms. I don't know if that's interesting to you. It's very unsimilar to Bone Thugs and Harmony, but thanks for stopping by. My first CD was Big Willie Style. Yeah, I mean, I remember that one. I don't think I had that one, but I definitely remember I remember that album for sure. Will you do more videos about The Office? Maybe. I have some ideas for The Office. I want to do a video about Jan. I think Jan has maybe the most epic meltdown I've ever seen on a sitcom before. It might make for a good video. Yeah, there's actually a lot of things I would like to talk about regarding The Office. But I probably need to rewatch it. And it's a lot to watch. Have I seen Dairy Girls? I have not seen Dairy Girls. I've heard people talking about it. It's supposed to be really good, right? Have I ever seen Flavor of Love? I've seen Flavor of Love, yeah. Very bizarre show, I guess, but you know, I guess it's pretty par for the course when it comes to reality dating competition shows. What about Arcane? I haven't seen Arcane. That's something I should watch. Because I used to be obsessed with League of Legends, so I would like recognize everything from it. But yeah, I haven't seen it, and I know that everybody loves it, so. Do you have any thoughts on current events? I like it when bad things happen, so things are pretty dope. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not, but I don't like it when bad things happen, and a lot of bad things are happening these days, so I don't know. It's very it's easy to get very sad if you look at the news these days. But there are probably a lot of good things happening out there if you look for them. I don't know if I can think of one at the moment, but it's easy to focus on the negative because that's all that we're bombarded with. Mamdani's been successful. That's good. If we're talking about political things. One of the first videos of yours I came across was the Sam Harris one. Do you ever check in with him? Same feelings? I see some of his stuff every now and then. I wouldn't say that I intentionally check in on him, but I feel like I get recommended him every now and then just because of, you know, he comments on things and I'm searching things every now and then. I think some of the criticisms that I had of him in that video, I would still have. I think that he's still a bit sort of unfairly obsessed with Islam in a weird way. But I don't know. I have some sort of admiration for him because I genuinely believe that he believes the things that he says, which is more than I can say for a lot of commentators. And I also respect the fact that unlike almost everybody that he used to run with, he acknowledges that Trump is bad, which seems like such an obvious thing to do, yet almost everybody that was associated with that sort of, you know, intellectual dark web movement is either like a full-on Trump supporter these days, or at least is neutral or quiet about it. So I kind of I respect the fact that he at least has been consistent on that. The news makes things look negative even in good times. Yeah, that's why it's, yeah, I mean, that's true. Because, I mean, negativity gets more attention than positivity. Unfortunately, it's just a fact about humans is we are more attracted to negativity. And the people who make news and content know that. Including myself. You can look at some of my videos. Usually the ones with negative titles do better. Do you hang out with other YouTubers? Well, not really, because I don't live near any other YouTubers, or at least not that I know of. I'm friendly and sometimes have online conversations with YouTubers or like chats and stuff, but yeah, I don't really live close to any YouTubers, so I don't really hang out with them. Is that why true crime is so popular? Yeah, I think that's part of it. I mean, that's probably not the only reason, but yeah, I mean, people are attracted to negative things. But I think the obsession with true crime might be a little bit deeper. I think it's part of it, I think, is just the taboo of it all. You know, it feels kind of exciting to watch stuff about, you know, these horrific things because it's taboo. It's like a little bit forbidden. It's, you know, it just feels kind of exciting. And also a lot of the times they're just really interesting stories, you know? But negativity bias is definitely part of it, I would say. I get into these like, so every now and then I get into little fits where I watch a lot of true crime, but then it makes me feel weird and I stop. I feel like I shouldn't be watching this. This is gonna mess up my brain. I hate negativity. I I hate negativity too. I think that, well, it kind of depends, you know. Sometimes, I mean, negative emotions are often appropriate. You know, if something bad happens, it's appropriate to feel bad about it. But the way that we are obsessed with negativity and the way that people, you know, default to negative things, you know, we assume negative things, we assume the worst of everyone. We come at people just off the top with negativity, you know. And social media is so big right now, and social media is just always negative. It's just, I don't like it either. It's like really bad. And I don't really know what to do about it, but all I can do is try to be the change that I want to see. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it. I've definitely contributed to the negativity out there. You know, don't go look at my old Twitter posts from like 8 to 10 years ago. I was just as bad. But yeah, I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I just think we can do better. We can be kinder. And I'm not saying it's never appropriate to be angry or it's never appropriate to be upset, but that shouldn't be the default. Are you a Kevin Smith fan? I am a Kevin Smith fan, actually. I mean, I like him as a person. Back in the day, I loved his movies back in the day. I'm not sure if they all hold up. They probably don't, but I loved his movies. But he just seems like a really cool, chill guy. I don't know. I like watching interviews with him and stuff. He seems like a guy who was just kind of like unapologetically himself, and he's sort of carved out a career where he gets to just be himself for a living, and that's like that's the dream. And luckily, himself seems to be like a really nice guy. That's why reality TV is so popular to drama. I mean, definitely. it's so much so that producers literally manufacture drama. But also, to be fair, most good stories involve drama. Like, in order for a story to be good, there has to be some conflict. And so, you know, to some extent, I get that. But reality shows sometimes take it to the extreme, and it's like just really like some of the wildest, most wacky people possible on some of these shows. My Kanye West fan. His music is good. His takes are bad. Although I haven't really kept up with his music as of late, but I mean, he's good at music. What can I say? And his second album, Late Registration, is probably in my top 5 favorite albums ever. And whenever I haven't really, like I said, I haven't kept up, but whenever I like listen to anything, it's usually good. Yeah, I've heard about the Hitler song. I haven't heard it. I didn't seek it out. I feel like people do chill out over time. After a certain age, you kind of don't have the energy to fight people online anymore. Maybe, I hope that's true. I've definitely chilled out the older I've gotten, and I guess age is part of it, but I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say it's not just age, but maybe it is age. I just don't have the energy anymore. I just feel like my just thoughts of about things have changed. The internet is just such an unpleasant place these days, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get better. And I feel like I may have acknowledged that even if I wasn't old. But maybe, I don't know. Honestly, when I was younger, maybe I would have been more fired up to go hard on people on the internet. I think I'm lucky that I never, I never really got paid to be angry on the internet. Because I think that's how a lot of people get stuck into it, is it's literally their job. And so they're angry, and then they build this mass of fans and followers that are also angry, and it just spreads like a virus. Like outside of YouTube, the biggest following I have is on Twitter, which I haven't used for over a year. But and I always wonder, like, why did I get so many Twitter followers? It's just because I was the most negative on Twitter out of all of the platforms. Reality shows always find the worst people possible. I think that's why your video on the guy who got Truman Showed was so fun. First time I saw such a genuine person on a reality show. Yeah, that was a really special story. It's like, usually when you, like, the meta of YouTube is when you have a video that does really well, and that is by far my most viewed video. The meta is like, you want to recreate that video or make more stuff like it. But that's such a unique story. Like, there's no story like that. So it's kind of hard to recreate. He was just a very singular guy in a singular situation. And they kind of like manufactured similar stories. Like, I don't know if you've seen Jury Duty. It's basically the same thing. But it's not the same because it was manufactured. It wasn't like a genuine thing. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad people like that video, because that was a story that I had been wanting to tell. That's like the cool thing of having a YouTube audience, is I've some of my videos are like ideas and stories that I've had in my heart for years, and I have an outlet to tell them. And that was one of them. I've been telling people about Joe Schmo Show since high school. And then I just thought one day, it's like, I should make a video about this. Sorry, I'm being kind of trolly tonight. You know what? Live your life. Who's your biggest celebrity crush at the moment? Who's my biggest celebrity crush at the moment? I don't know. I haven't really thought about a celebrity crush in a while. I used to think about it a lot. I'm trying to think of like the last celebrity that I saw that I was like, that person's hot. I don't know. I don't like, because I don't watch a lot of like pop culture, so I don't even know what's going on in there. I watch a lot of YouTube. And a lot of times when I like see someone and I'm attracted to them, it's not really, it's more like I want to hang out with them. I think they would be cool. Like the one that came to mind is Kiki Palmer. And like she's beautiful, obviously, but I mainly just think she's really cool and I want to hang out with her. You ever watch VTubers? Can't say that I do. I don't think so. Not really. I watch Lily Pichu every now and then, and she's kind of a VTuber, but she's also on camera a lot, so I don't know. But it's not like I watch her frequently. I maybe watch her like once every 3 months or something. Do I know anyone in the Houston, Katy area who is hiring chemists? Well, can't say that I do. I'll let you know if I do. Ana de Armas. Ana de Armas. I mean, that's a pretty lady for sure. I also feel kind of weird sometimes talking about celebrity crushes because I'm like getting old now. So a lot of these like beautiful women are like 21 and I'm like, it's kind of creepy for me to be talking about these children. Star Trek or Star Wars? For me, definitely Star Trek. But I have pretty much kept up with neither in recent years. But I definitely have seen more Star Wars or Star Trek. Well, I've followed Star Trek more. I'm completely out of touch with Star Wars. I have no idea what's going on with Star Wars. The last Star Wars movie I watched was The Force Awakens. I haven't seen any of the TV shows. Thoughts on Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan is a complicated dude, and I honestly probably don't know enough about him these days. The thing about Joe Rogan is he has so much content, and it's hard to judge him outside of just little clips here and there. I actually used to watch Joe Rogan a lot, like back in the day, but I think he's like, I don't know if he's like changed, but he's like, for example, I would have never thought that he would endorse Trump, which I'm pretty sure he did. So like, it seems like something about his mindset has shifted. But I don't know. I think that Joe Rogan probably generally believes what he says. I think a lot of people like call him a grifter or whatever. I don't think he's like right wing as a lot of people think he is. But I just think that he is just a regular dude that believes a lot of weird shit. And he just happens to also have like the most popular podcast ever. Some of the shit that he believes is weird and harmful, and some of the shit he believes I agree with. He said a lot of things I agree with, and he said a lot of things I don't agree with, and that's kind of the case for most humans. But most humans don't have as huge a platform as he does. I don't necessarily, I mean, a lot of people talk about him like he is a Nazi or evil or something, and I don't agree with that, but he's definitely a weird guy that believes a lot of weird stuff. And sometimes harmful, like when he was on his sort of vaccine skepticism kick, that was very rough because he probably contributed to a lot of people not getting the vaccine, which is just objectively harmful to the world. So stuff like that. Are you excited for the King of the Hill reboot? I am. I'll check it out. I'm cautiously excited. I think King of the Hill is an amazing show. So if the reboot is anywhere near as good as the original, then it should be good. But you never know with reboots. It's a different era. It's a different, you know, the people who make the show are probably different now than they were when they made it back then. So we'll just I just have to see. I live in Korea and it's super creepy how guys in their 40s glaze over K-pop idols 20 years younger than them. Yeah, like at the end of the day, I don't really care what happens. You know, if people are adults and people are being people not being disrespectful, that's fine. But just for me personally, it feels a little bit weird. You know, I'm happy to acknowledge that some of these young celebrities are beautiful, but it feels a little weird to be like super, you know, like crushy, to be like, ooh, I wish I could have sex with her. I was like, a little weird. At least a little weird, you know. Keep it to your private circles. Don't be a creep in public, at least. But, you know, I think that these models and these actresses and stuff, I think that they understand that that's part of what they're doing, and they consent to it as far as I can tell. They consent to being objectified, or consent to being sexually admired, put it that way. At least some of them do. As long as it's not disrespectful, as long as you're not like literally bothering them. Now, if they're like not adults, that's another thing. That's a whole different thing, which happens, you know. Joe seems to be a bit too naive for a person with that large of an audience. Lots of his guests take advantage of him because of that. Yeah, I think I kind of agree with that. I think, I don't know. I don't want to like, I don't want to be condescending to him because I think that he's an intelligent adult human. But sometimes it feels like he doesn't understand the ramifications of having such a large platform. Like, I get his idea is he just wants to talk to people that he finds interesting and he just wants to have conversations. But I believe that there is a responsibility that you have when you have a large platform. And I don't know if he agrees that he has that same responsibility. Can you please go on an angry rant about something? I'm having trouble relating to someone not shouting in rage. I don't know. I probably can't go on an angry rant. I don't feel that angry right now, but I could complain about something. I was trying to think of something to complain about. I was gonna complain about a movie, but it would require spoiling the movie, so I won't do that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really well, it's not that I don't get angry, but I don't yell generally. Do you listen to Ezra Klein? Thoughts on him? I generally like Ezra Klein. I don't know. I don't know if people think this is like having low standards, but really just like the bar, it's kind of a low bar, but the bar that I have for commentators is, do you actually believe the shit that you're saying? Because I feel like so many people obviously don't believe what they're saying, or they just say whatever they need to say to appease their audience. And I believe that Ezra Klein believes what he's saying. And I agree with him on a lot of stuff as well. I probably agree with him more than a lot of other commentators. Okay, yeah, I was about to guess that it's Casey. It was like, who was a moderator in my chat that has Korean as their name? I was like, I don't remember that. And I was like, I guess it's Casey. But yeah, what's up, dude? Do you watch the Jubilee debates? I watched some of them. I don't know. I have mixed feeling about Jubilee. But I do think sometimes they make interesting content. But some of it I think is really just sort of rage bait content, which I don't really appreciate. Every now and then there's something interesting. I actually like most of their middle ground episodes. The problem with the middle ground episodes is they insist on always having at least one goofball there, just one person who has no idea what they're talking about and is just there saying a bunch of weird, wacky stuff. And I know they do it on purpose because they always do it every single time. It'll be like 10 people having, or 8 people, or however many it is, having a legit conversation, an interesting conversation, and just one person just saying dumb shit. And it's like, why do you always get the weirdo? I don't like the Surrounded series. It's a terrible format, but I guess it's content, it gets views. Has social media destroyed our minds? I think it's contributed to it for sure. Does it annoy you that everyone tries to get you to talk politics when you clearly said you won't anymore? I don't mind talking politics in the stream. There's a limit to how deep I'll get onto it, and there's certain topics that I just don't want to talk about. I just don't make political content. I don't mind having if anyone is interested in having a respectful, good faith conversation about politics, I'm down. I'm not opposed to it. My problem with political conversation is that rarely happens. And usually when people want to talk politics, they're not good faith, they're not being polite, they're not being charitable. But if those things aren't true, then I'm down. I just don't make political content, political videos anymore. Did you ever watch Hey Arnold? Oh yeah, great show. One of the best Nickelodeon shows for sure. Hey Arnold was tight. I like Transformers and He-Man when I was real little. Transformers, I remember watching He-Man, but Transformers is somehow I completely missed out on Transformers. I'm not sure why, because I feel like I was watching everything else around that time. I watched Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, but somehow Transformers just completely slipped past my radar. I'm about to start hiking some trails in central Taiwan. I have to watch out for wasps and some very dangerous snakes. I'm doing it to fight depression. Wish me luck. Good luck. Yeah, hopefully the wasps leave you alone, but hiking can be therapeutic. I think Hey Arnold, Doug, and Our Real Monsters are all SSS tier classics. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Nicktoons back then, they were kind of on fire. They had a lot of classics. One of my favorites was Rocko's Modern Life. In fact, that was probably my number one favorite Nickelodeon cartoon. But most of them were good. All the ones I can think of were pretty good. Angry Beavers, Wild Thornberries, Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats. They were all pretty good. And I haven't, I haven't watched a lot of them in a while, but most of them that I have watched are still good. Rugrats holds up. I watched Our Real Monsters maybe like a year or two ago. It's still good. It holds up. Oh yeah, As Told by Ginger. I've made a concentrated effort to get more involved in my community and focus on local politics / topics. I just feel very strongly that we have to start connecting in person again. Yeah, I respect that. I mean, I think that's probably a good thing to do. I've been trying to pay more attention to local politics. Like I follow the city council on Facebook and like follow some of the updates and stuff, but I haven't really gotten super active with it. Maybe one day. If a family member thought something insane, how hard do you fight them before giving up and accepting chaos? Well, I mean, I've had family members that had very, very weird opinions. Here's the thing though. It's not our jobs to change people. Or at least I don't feel that way. I think a lot of people feel like it's their duty in life to convince people of things, or to, especially their family and stuff. But it's not your job to do that. That's a full, complete other person. They have their own agency and they make their own decisions. You can't control what other people do. And so it's a bit fruitless to even try. If they're open to hearing your side, then feel free. But some people just aren't. Like, in order for a mind to be changed, you first have to entertain the possibility that you might be wrong. And if you haven't even reached that step, then it's not even like worth it to. You're never going to get anywhere with something like that. Like, they have to meet you at the table. You can't come to their side of the table and expect them to change. All right, Casey, thanks for stopping by. I'm probably going to end the stream here in about 10 minutes or so. It is almost midnight here, so probably a good time to wind down. Did I see the new Rugrats they made? I don't think so. How new? I try to be locally involved. Sometimes it gets messy. I got ranted on by a black Israelite conspiracy theorist the other day. A weird experience. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. I'm just like so uninterested in like debating people or trying to like change people's minds, I guess. Like I'm interested in learning why people believe what they believe, and you know, getting all the facts that I can get about the world, and then from there making my own opinions and deciding what I stand for. But you know, not everybody has the same values or same standards for belief that I do, and it's hard to, you know, it's hard to convince people in that way. I just think social media is changing how our minds work in crazy ways. Yeah, I mean, it's just, well, I don't know exactly how you see it, but social media rewards outrage, it rewards negativity, it rewards the destruction of nuance, it rewards being uncharitable, and it rewards chaos. And so more people are doing all of those things that I just mentioned, and that's just how people interact these days. And I think it's even bleeding offline, it's bleeding into the real world, where people are behaving that way in the real world. It's unfortunate. I honestly don't know what we do about it. The only thing I can see is if we somehow incentivize social media, the people who run the social media sites, to change their algorithms and to change what kind of content that they promote. But I don't see that happening because it's a lot of it's just based on human nature. As we said before, humans are just attracted to negativity. Tribalism, you know, that's part of it as well. And that's also human nature. All we can do is just try to be better, be the change that we want to see. And it's harder. The problem is it's harder. It's harder to be kind than it is to be mean. It's harder to think for yourself than it is to just go along with what your team is doing. It's harder to be charitable and to think about people in a complex way than it is to just assume that they're a one-dimensional villain. It's harder, so people don't do it. But all we can do is try to put in the effort to be that change that we'd like to see. Did I ever watch Degrassi? I did not. I'm pretty sure the only scene of Degrassi that I've ever seen is the one where Drake gets shot. I'm sure Elon Musk will solve social media any day now. Some people think he's already solved it with X. I love your old political videos and I love your current videos, especially the Roseanne one. People sleep on that show. I appreciate that. I always find it interesting, the people that are fans of both eras of this channel, because they're quite different, I would say. I was also surprised that so many people showed love for the Roseanne video. I didn't know that people cared about Roseanne that much. It is a great show, though. Have I played any fighting games? I played a lot of fighting games. I love fighting games. It's probably my favorite genre of video games. I haven't played anything super recently. The last fighting game I probably played was Street Fighter 6, but I haven't played that in several months. Um, I got back into Melee recently. Smash Melee. Hard game. But yeah, I love fighting games. I want to buy Tekken 8. I haven't got it yet. I played a shit ton of Tekken 7 though. Soul Calibur. I love Soul Calibur. I played a little bit of Soul Calibur 6. The one that I really played was Soul Calibur 2. I played the shit out of that game. Why did you transition between channel eras? Well, probably for the best or the most in-depth answer, you can just watch my video. I made a video called, I think it's called Why I Stopped Making Political Content. And I kind of go over it there, but I guess the main reason is just I don't like how politics is discussed on the internet. I think it's super rare for politics and political discussions to be productive or interesting on the internet, and I just didn't like being a part of that anymore. And even in my own, you know, like I talked about being the change you want to see, but like even in my own community and my own comments, it was just a lot of people being, you know, uncharitable and mean and rude and bad faith, and even people who agreed with me, even the people on my side were doing the things that I don't like. And so I was just like, I don't want to be in this. I don't want to do this anymore. And, you know, for one, it just wasn't fun. And I can't be making YouTube videos if it's not fun for me. And outside of that, I don't think the internet is for discussing politics. I don't think it's a good place to do that. At least not in this day and age. Or at least social media is not a good place to discuss politics. Maybe the internet in general. Everyone is just, it's just chaos right now. Like we can't make the world better if we're just yelling at each other and attacking each other all the time. It doesn't work. And yeah, I just didn't feel good to be a part of that. And also I think that just the state of political YouTube is different now. And it's just, I don't really feel like I fit in the community. And so I just started making videos about other stuff that I'm interested in. And I kind of settled on sitcoms because I really love sitcoms. And some of my sitcom videos did well, so it seemed like the people who were around would watch those kinds of videos, and so I kept doing it. And mostly sitcoms, but you know, I also did videos about reality TV and music and other stuff, but mostly sitcoms. Instead of fighting games, people should make productive conversation games. I would love to see someone pull that off and make it not boring. I'm giving Tekken 8 a second chance after season 2, but they messed things up super hard. Oh, interesting. I haven't been playing. What did they do? What about Call of Duty Zombies? I'm not a big Call of Duty guy. I haven't really played Call of Duty. Last Call of Duty I played was Black Ops 2, the original Black Ops 2, a long time ago. GTA, I actually have recently, I was recently playing the story mode of GTA 5. I haven't beat it yet though. Earlier you said the AI is here to stay and we need to make the best of it. Can you say the same about political discourse on social media? I mean, I think we need to figure it out for sure. But I think AI is a tool and political discourse on social media is human beings talking to each other. So I don't know if they're directly comparable. But yeah, I would love for people to make the best of it and to figure it out and make it better. But I don't really know how to do that. And I don't like being a part of it, so I'm not saying that no one should talk about politics on the internet. I think if people can figure out how to do that without driving themselves crazy, then absolutely go for it. I'm just talking about myself and what I want to do. AIs for making Trump and Obama into big titty anime babies. Oh, anime babes. Why are some people so scared of AI? I don't know. Are people still scared of AI? I mean, I think that some people are scared that AI is going to take people's jobs, which I think it's kind of already doing that. So I think that's a legitimate concern. You know, the part of the writers' strike that happened not too long ago was part of their concerns was AI taking their jobs, and so they you know, they got a contract signed to where that could be prevented to for the most part, which is good. In terms of like, I don't know, when people say people are scared of AI, if we're talking about like a, you know, Skynet Judgment Day type situation. I don't know if people are like legitimately scared of something like that. I think that's more a fantasy, but there's definitely some concerns about AI. There's a lot of legitimate concerns about AI. I think I don't know for sure, but I know that there are a lot of companies. I'm positive that there are a lot of companies that are already using AI to do things that they would have normally paid humans to do, which is probably not good, unless the AI is just way better at it than the humans would be, which in most cases is probably not true. Like, there are some things that AI can just do better than humans, and it would be silly to not use it for that, you know? But many things the AI is not better than humans at doing, particularly creative things, perhaps like customer service, things like that. And right, we're in a weird era. Like, I don't think AI is going anywhere, but I think we are in a weird era where so many companies and so many individuals are using AI because they're like too lazy to actually do anything to like make something for real. And that's why there's so much AI garbage right now. It's like we're like, I don't know. I feel like too many companies have just fully onboarded AI into their entire like ecosystem before it's like even good at the thing it's supposed to do, you know? Like there's fully like AI commercials now and they're bad. They're not good. There's like I don't know. Like I can see people messing around with AI. I mean, obviously you have to consider like the ethical concerns and the energy concerns, environmental concerns. Those are all like legitimate concerns, but people are experimenting with AI and just seeing like what are the limits of it, what can we do with it, what can we make with it. But then you got companies just fully making legitimate commercials for real products and actually putting them on TV and putting them on the internet, and that's a thing, and it's bad. They're really bad and weird and cringe, but they didn't feel like paying someone to make a commercial, so they just made AI do it. And it's like, we're not at the point where you can do that yet. You're not allowed to do that yet because it's still bad. Is this guy shadow banned? Why does he get hundreds of thousands of views and there's only 25 people here? Because I'm not really a streamer. I only stream every now and then, so I didn't really build an audience that's interested in streaming. Or at least that's my theory. What's up, Tayzonde? What age was I for my first dreads? So first dreads is kind of a weird concept, because what I'll say is the last time that I cut my hair was, I think, 2009, and then it just kept growing and dreading from there. It wasn't always dreads in that period. At some point after 2009 it became dreads. I don't know how long it has to be for it to be considered dreads. At first it was just little twisted mats. At first it was kind of like a weird matted fro, and then it became little like twists, and then maybe it became dreads after that. What about AI use in school to write essays? Do you think that's bad? Well, if the AI writes your whole essay, yeah, that's bad. For one, because it's probably not going to be a good essay. But also because you didn't write it yourself. You probably shouldn't pass off a different work that you didn't write as your own. But I think that AI is very good at helping you write stuff. I think that's again, you know, taking into account the ethical and environmental concerns. But AI, I think that's one of the things that at least like ChatGPT and things like it, like large language models are good at, is helping you come up with ideas and helping you rephrase things and inspiring you to write stuff. I mean, AI is a tool. It can definitely be used in ways to enhance human creation. But what a lot of people end up using it for is just to be lazy. Like I use ChatGPT all the time. I think I use ChatGPT more than Google now. It's just it's very good at certain things. I wonder if AI is bad at certain things on purpose. Because it's like, I don't know, it requires a certain level of inspiration to like make good content. Like if you tell ChatGPT to write a YouTube video, it will write a terrible video. It's just not good at it. It's not good at making art. But it can give you good ideas. Like, I don't know, like for example, something I'll do is I'll give it like a bunch of parameters and I'll tell them like, give me 100 titles for this video concept, and probably all of them will be bad, but like 3 of them will be like, will have a spark of inspiration, and then I'll combine 3 of them and come up with like, and then add some of my own ideas, and then I'll come up with a decent title, something like that. That's kind of how how I use ChatGPT. Do you ever wonder how we ended up in this crazy timeline? Like if 2005 me explained 2025 me, it would sound insane. I mean, I don't know. There's like the serious answer and the joke answer. I think it's just technology has developed so rapidly. Well, really, social media, I think, is a really big part of it. Social media changed everything. The joke answer is we probably slipped into a bad timeline. There was probably some kind of non-canon event that happened that caused us to slip into the bad timeline. There's various theories about what event that was that caused us to slip into the bad timeline. A lot of people think it was the killing of Harambe. I tend to think it was the O.J. Simpson verdict. I think that's when things just really started to veer off course. I like asking AI to do silly things like restate scientific papers as the Incredible Hulk just to see if it can do it. Yeah, sometimes you could have fun with stuff like that. Microsoft calls it Copilot, and I think that's a good metaphor. Yeah. But I don't know, it's you guys' guesses are as good as mine as to what the future of AI is going to be and whether it will be good or bad. Like I'm a generally positive person. I've spent a lot of the stream talking about how I don't like how negative everybody is, but I would not call myself optimistic. That's a different thing. I don't expect things to turn out good. I'm not necessarily pessimistic, but I think it is equally likely for things to end up bad as they are to be good. And that could be true about AI. It could just get worse and worse. Or it could get better. Who knows? We'll see. What are your thoughts on Keemstar and his e-begging network? I don't really know anything about that. I haven't really thought about Keemstar in a long time. But like I was saying before, I think we are in this weird sort of wild west of AI, and potentially things will settle down as we sort of figure this thing out. But I don't know, you never know. Especially in cases where there's money to be made, people are going to push things to the limit. What is this background music? This is some music made by my brother. I get asked that every now and then, and I'm always kind of at a loss because my brother doesn't really make music anymore. And a lot of people are like, oh, where can I hear more of this? Nowhere. My brother does have social media. You can search John Ivory on Facebook, but it's not about music. He's just influencer or whatever you want to call it. He actually has a decent following on Facebook. I listened to an AI written video on the song Ooh Child and it was terrible. It kept calling the sound OOH child, and the writing was all over the place. Kept saying the same things many times. Yeah, but here's the thing though, AI will probably get better at mimicking human creativity. So be prepared for that. Artificial intelligence will never beat natural stupidity. Music is your brother's politics. Not really. My brother is a very not political person, very apolitical. Which I honestly kind of envy. I want to be in that state of bliss. If we get to the point of robots in our lifetime, will you have one? Like robot servants? If they make it in a way that doesn't creep me out, then sure. I'm generally in favor of the advancement of technology, but I don't know. I've just seen too many movies and it's always creepy. I think they have to make it not look like a human. If it looks like Rosie from the Jetsons, then maybe. But if it looks like, you know, like Bicentennial Man or something like that, it's like, that's a little too creepy. I don't know if I can deal with that. I meant a thing he used to do and then moved away from. I guess so. I guess you could say it like that. I got a robot vacuum the other week. Highly recommend. Yeah, see, I think that's more likely what would it be? It would just be like little devices. I don't know if we're like truly gonna have like humanoid robots walking around. Possible though. Or like those little robots. Have you ever been to one of the hotels with the robot? The robots that come to your door that bring stuff to your door, stuff like that. But all right, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. It's midnight. I know I started kind of late, so I shouldn't be surprised that it's midnight, but it's a good time to stop. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll plug the Discord. I have a Discord community if you want to just come and chill. If you like the chill type of conversations that we have here, check out the Discord. I'll put a link. Also, if you enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon. And I'll put a link to that as well. Look out for a new video. Actually, I know exactly when the new video is coming out. It's coming out July 12th, or at least it's around July 12th. But the plan is July 12th, so keep an eye out. I didn't put .com. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. See you guys next time. I'll try to stream again. I'm gonna try to stream at least once a week, maybe twice a week, but I'm gonna start out with once a week. So I'll try to stream again next week, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.